breakthroughs in science and technology, advancements in business and beyond. Join us as we educate, enlighten, and entertain. This is Innovations. Coming up on Innovations, the latest breakthroughs in science and research are helping patients manage their health. Improvements in food technology are aiding with the growing demand to feed the world. Recent advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning are leading to award-winning financial solutions. And discover how developments in manufacturing and equipment are creating efficient extraction tools. This and more, all ahead in the next half hour.
Welcome to Innovations. I'm Ed Begley, Jr. While this ancient crop is gaining global popularity, it hasn't yet received the full attention it deserves until now. Learn more next.
From the corporate boardroom to the corridors of political establishments, marijuana has captured the attention of the world as an alternative health remedy. Today, people in need of relief from life-threatening medical conditions are looking for other, more natural forms of treatment. Take, for instance, the roughly 30,000 Americans currently suffering from Huntington's disease.
I was 21 when I found out. My dad had it, and I was at the point where if I wanted kids or not. So with Huntington's, you have a 50% chance of giving it to your children. So I decided not to have kids. It's like Parkinson's with the hands movements and stuff, and you lose your balance, memory's bad, can't remember a lot. So and I've been out of work now 6 years, I can't work anymore.
Despite advances in treatment for a multitude of neurological conditions, Huntington's disease remains incurable. However, recent preliminary findings show encouraging results on therapies using cannabidiol, or CBD, for management of chorea associated with Huntington's disease.
In the field of Huntington's disease, which I've been involved in since 1985, the most common kind of research we're very interested in conducting and that we do is to develop agents that will improve the quality of life of the patient and also control the chorea. Now, there are drugs existing, major tranquilizers that are commonly used and FDA approved to treat the involuntary movements, but unfortunately that drains the patients of energy. They don't like the adverse effects. They rather be untreated. On the other hand, we hypothesize the treatment with a cannabinoid preparation will alleviate the chorea, enhance feelings of well-being, and not drain people of energy. But this is something that has to be studied. That's why we're proposing to do a clinical study.
With an increasingly impressive body of scientific research backing up CBD, MMJ International Holdings Corporation is on a mission to help millions of people.
We started the project in 2015, and that indeed the federal government had very detailed explanation and a regulatory pathway to proceed forward to prove safety, efficacy of a product and get that approved as a pharmaceutical drug. The advantages of that approach is strictly to the patient because the consistency of the product that they're getting, the quality of the product, and they know that it works. And we're able to deliver that consistently to them. And hopefully it will be an insurance reimbursable item.
This mission is reflected in MMJ's business strategy and the high value it places on attention to detail. MMJ has already submitted 2 pre-investigational new drug applications to the FDA, which are geared towards bringing relief to patients suffering from multiple sclerosis and the deadly Huntington's disease.
From the start, the theme that MMJ has always sat on was that they wanted to do everything by the book. And that was the reason why we chose to go down the route of an FDA development. Within that, there's 3 aspects that they say you have to achieve in any medicine or even device that they're working with. And the first one is that you have to have a strong safety profile, meaning that this compound or drug or whatever it is will not hurt any of the patients there, or they tell you what are some of the side effects, and that's normal. The second part is how efficacious it is. Does it actually work? And the third part is the reproducibility of the drug. And in this particular case, it would be the grow, the analytics, the formulation that you need, and everything aspect of that to make sure what you produce today is reproducible next week, next month, next year, and so on, so all the batches are the same.
In the public domain, there's quite a bit of notoriety around CBD. As you can imagine, you can buy CBD at various places. What we encourage the public to know is that you have to be assured that what you're buying is reproducible, does what it's supposed to do, and is in there in the concentration which it's supposed to be there. And what the public has unfortunately bought into that this is a magic panacea. It's not a magic panacea. It has a major role in what we're trying to identify, and we have identified in certain neurological disorders. And we know that by clinical testing, obviously in conformance with FDA regulations and clinical guidelines, that we will be able to show the efficacy along with the safety of the product which we have.
This latest wave of interest regarding the science of medical cannabis is prompting some industry players to explore markets outside of the U.S. Jamaica, for instance, is attracting international attention.
So we've had to develop the real science, and ultimately what we've learned along the way is that I firmly believe that geographic location is important to the quality of the plant and the specific plant genetics that we're dealing with in our formulation. We're aware from our scientific data that the quality of the product is much better from that region, Jamaica being one of them.
We're leveraging the hundreds of years of safety data that are out there in multiple different studies and really gathering all that information and putting it all in the appropriate context, and then building on that with our own clinical trials and our own proof of concept studies to bridge both our medicine to the studies and the drugs that have already been out there. And we're making great strides to do that in partnership with the FDA.
Regardless of whether you're for or against cannabis for Huntington's disease and other conditions, we all agree on one thing. We need more research, and that's why I'm doing this, and more education. Because the discovery of the endocannabinoid system has completely changed how we think about a number of brain conditions.
We're looking at cannabis, and we're saying it's only the tip of the iceberg. It might be medicine. It might be many medicines. It might contain many cures. That's what we're about.
The fact that we are taking something which at the moment is a recommendation for treatment and moving it into a prescription with known dose, following the appropriate regulatory pathway through the FDA with DEA approval, changes the game.
For more information, visit mmjih.com.